I don't even know. And I'm sure they get all their lines like out of context. So, yeah.
Hello and welcome to tonight's performance. At this time, we would like to ask you all to please silence your cell phones. Video or photography of this production is strictly prohibited. There will also be strobe lights and effects throughout this performance. Mr. Jason Ships would like to offer a word of warning. We are about to unfold the story of Victor Frankenstein, a young scientist who created his own human being without regards for the consequences. I feel it may frighten you, shock you, it may even terrify you. If you don't feel right to subject yourself to such a strain, then, well, we've warned you.
Some point of what you do and don't understand.
Police everywhere, in the garden, on the shore of the ocean?
We've searched the house thoroughly.
Yes, but why?
You asked a great many questions, Sophie.
I heard that right.
Are you sure there's anywhere in the house where anyone or anything might...
What thing?
One question at a time.
I've been housekeeper here for many years. I know of no other room or area in the house.
They say he's afraid of gunfire.
Who? Mr. Frankenstein?
No, not him.
Victor, what are you doing?
Only what tradition expects of me.
They're back.
Come on, let's give him a few minutes of sanity.
Sanity?
Do as I tell you.
Police everywhere, no reception, no guests. Not my idea of a wedding night.
Victor, put me down, I'm out of breath.
Should I ring for Sophie?
What on earth for?
I thought you might want something to eat or drink.
No, nothing. Victor, now that we're married, won't you tell me what's been troubling you? You've been so distraught. When I speak, I'm not sure you hear what I say. When I look at you, I know your thoughts are elsewhere.
Forgive me, Elizabeth. I have so much to be forgiven for.
Victor, you don't regret marrying me.
I'm afraid.
Afraid of what? Victor, you must tell me. You've lived these past months with some terrible private dread. I want to bring you happiness. I am Mrs. Frankenstein, the wife of a brilliant young scientist. Whatever troubles you has to trouble me. Please, Victor, take me into your confidence. It's out there that frightens you.
Tonight, this very night, the man who will kill me will come through those doors.
What are you saying?
I know it sounds crazy and monstrous. All the same, it's true.
Who would want to kill you? Why?
I only ask that you remember your love for me when you hear these words.
Go on.
Do you remember when I returned from Harvard?
Of course. If you were in such poor health, we were all so worried for you.
I didn't want to return. I wanted to find an icy glacier and build a funeral pyre upon it. If not for me, then for my deeds.
I hadn't slept in days. My brain was on fire. I was consumed with guilt and fear. and that private tread you speak of.
Victor? Victor? Are you in there? Victor? Ah, there you are.
How are you, Henry?
The question is, how are you?
Constant. My temper is almost violent. My mood varies between depression and deep melancholia.
Ah, come on, Victor. You're away from your gloomy university. What could be better than a vacation on the shores of the ocean in your own house?
Vacation? Call it retreat, sanctuary. Anything but vacation. I appreciate your good spirits, Henry. I know you're trying to cheer me up. I'm sure it doesn't do anyone any good having me about like this.
You've had a slight breakdown. Understandable considering how you drive yourself. For a young man, you take life far too seriously.
Life is serious. What man does with it even more so.
Fine, have it your way, but there's no need to be pompous. Here, I brought you a gift. A new thesis in biochemistry.
That's your field, not mine.
But it's written by your favorite professor, George Daly.
He was.
You ought to read it. You haven't already bought it.
No.
Good.
Peculiar you should bring up his name.
How so?
I'm writing a letter to him.
Indeed.
I'm informing him that I do not intend to return to Harvard.
You mean until you've regained your health?
I mean, never.
Victor, is this about your brother?
I confess that William's murder isn't something that I accept so easily. To live less than 10 years, when life holds so much promise, only to be killed at the hands of an unknown killer, seems to be the height of cosmic cruelty.
Cosmic cruelty? The boy was murdered for an expensive gold cross, obviously by a thief of the most petty kind. The thief was vicious and unfeeling. A monster.
Victor, may I come in?
It's my mother. Please don't make any mention of William. She holds up extremely well, but...
I understand.
One moment, Mother. I'll unlock the door.
Ah, Henry, how wonderful it is that you're here.
Always a pleasure, Mrs. Frankenstein.
I can't tell you what it means to Victor that you're here. You, his best friend, have never deserted him.
Boys together, friends together, but comrades, always.
Do you hear that, Victor?
I'll never doubt Henry's friendship, as I trust he'll never doubt mine.
If only you could persuade him to get out and around. My son does nothing but lock himself in the study as if the sound of another human voice was more than he could bear.
You exaggerate, Mother.
No, Victor, I do not. He never sleeps. Sophie's at her wit's end trying to find something to tease his appetite. Elizabeth has become his devoted nurse, and I'm afraid my son is a bad patient. I do worry about you. The doctor said...
The doctor.
You shouldn't scoff like that. You're a scientific man yourself.
There's a world of difference between a doctor and a scientific man.
Well, if there is, I'm not aware of it. I only meant that you shouldn't insult him by your indifference. He has your best interests at heart. You know you can't go on when you have. You must eat, rest.
Stop it, Mother.
Where is Elizabeth this fine day?
She went to the market. I believe she could live her life there, but she was that way even as a child. She could tell you the name of any flower that grew. Victor could pull apart that flower and tell you exactly what was inside of it, what made it grow.
Some might say that's an ideal combination, the pragmatic and the romantic.
Yes, Henry, that's very good. Very good indeed.
I'm sorry to disturb you, Mrs. Frankenstein.
What is it, Sophie?
It's Ernst Kessler.
I shall see him outside.
No, Victor. Show him in here, Sophie.
Perhaps I should leave.
Nonsense. It's probably something very routine about the investigation.
I don't think you should see him. You know how upset he gets.
No, Victor, it is you who gets upset. Chief Kessler,
I'm sorry to intrude, Mrs. Frankenstein.
you're always welcome in my house. You remember Henry, our neighbor?
Mr. Thurville? Victor?
You'll stay for tea.
I'm afraid not.
Then this is a professional visit.
Yes, it is.
Something about William's murder. Henry's a dear friend of the family. You may speak freely in front of him.
As you wish. We have William's cross.
Who had it?
A girl by the name of Justine had it. She tried to sell it, but unfortunately for her, the buyer was one of our informants.
Girl,
A bad sort. She hangs with drug dealers and killers. They would cut a throat for a tablespoon.
Please.
I'm sorry, a bad choice of words.
There can be no mistake.
They were encamped on the ocean shore the night of the murder. We know your brother was there. It's a popular spot for locals. He was seen there, along with the girl, wearing a cross at his neck. After the murder, they broke camp and moved on.
Hardly seems sufficient to prove this girl guilty.
She has a bad record. We have no file.
She has confessed then?
Oh, far from it. She denies any knowledge of the crime.
If that is so, how can you be so positive?
Because of the crazy story she made up to cover the act.
What story?
She claims a man gave her the voice.
Is that so extraordinary?
But this man was not an ordinary mortal. Apparently he was hideous and stitched up like a rag doll.
What?
Yeah, heard them all. She had the nerve to offer that up as an alibi, but hideous and stitched up was a new one.
No!
Victor, are you all right?
Why did you have to bring me this news?
It is my duty. I assure you, Victor. I didn't know it would upset you to this point.
Please excuse my son. He's been under a doctor's care. He's not himself.
Get out!
Victor, get a hold of yourself.
Get out, I said!
I'll show you to the door.
Thank you, Mrs. Frankenstein.
I wonder, Ernest, might I have the cross?
I'm afraid not. It's evidence.
I understand.
But when the case is solved, I'll see its return to you.
Was that really necessary? If you continue on like this, there's nothing ahead but disaster for you. You have to listen to the doctor's advice.
Did you believe what he said?
The doctor?
No, Ernst, what he said about that girl's story.
I have no reason not to believe him.
Stitched together like a rag
The
doll.
girl was lying!
Was she?
It's as simple as that. A lie.
I
Nothing
assure
more.
you, even simplicity can turn into something twisted and evil. Today's exhilaration can turn into tomorrow's grief.
Can't you say a single sentence without decorating it with
The
terror?
girl was not lying.
Be reasonable.
Don't patronize me. I tell you the girl was telling the truth.
I will not stand here and listen to any more of this raving.
Henry, if our friendships mean anything to you, I ask you, I plead with you, stay.
On one condition.
What's that?
The Victor Frankenstein that left this house for the university is not the same one who returned. I need to know what became of him. And if you're not prepared to tell me of your afflictions...
Yes, I want to. I intend to. I must. You are my last hope. What I'm going to tell you will chill the marrow of your mortal bone.
I'll be the judge of whether my mortal bones are chilled.
If I appear unsettled or half mad, there's a reason.
If you're referring to Ernest's visit, all I can say is it's unreasonable to blame the messenger for the message.
You think that's why I cried
What
out?
else am I to think?
The secret of my rest lies here, in these documents and papers. The recorded crimes of Victor Frankenstein. You think whatever happened began at the university. You're wrong. It began behind that laboratory door. As a boy, science and biology consumed me, as it did you. Far more than the fever that now plagues my brain. I was more advanced in my studies than even you realized. The university merely stimulated me into pressing on to the secret that has baffled men since they have first sucked breath.
What secret?
I often ask myself, from where did the principle of life proceed?
A bold question.
Yet, we are always on the brink of discovering something new and strange and bold. Our cowardice and carelessness defeat us. We restrain our inquiries in fear of what we might discover. We fear the unknown, but we long to embrace it. I had one passion and only one, to examine the causes of life. And to do that, I had to have recourse to death.
Dead.
I became acquainted with the science of anatomy in a way that was zealous and accelerated. I observed the natural decay of the human body.
In the dissecting room at the university.
No, I don't mean in the dissecting room of the university.
What do you mean, then?
I mean that the morgue became my haunt. A church graveyard was not a holy place to me. It was instead only a receptacle of bodies deprived of life.
I don't believe you.
Then you are a fool! I saw how the fine form of man was degraded and wasted. I studied in the darkness until my senses no longer knew the hour, the day, the week. And then, all of a sudden, a brilliant light burst out upon me. A light so brilliant and wondrous, yet so simple, that I became dizzy with the prospect that, among so many men, I alone, Victor Frankenstein, could have discovered such astonishing a secret.
Not this again.
I asked for your friendship, not for your skepticism.
You have both. Go on.
The stages of discovery were distinct and probable. Others could have discovered what I had, George Daly for one. But brilliant minds must match their imagination, not be earthbound by the improbable. After days of incredible labor and fatigue, I finally discovered the causes of animation and life. I was able to bestow animation upon lifeless matter.
That's not possible, Victor.
You think not? You too are earthbound. And when I found such astonishing secret, I hesitated a long time before I decided how to employ it.
And how did you?
I began the creation of a human being.
You did what?
At the top of my dorm, I kept a workshop of filthy creation.
How could you just create another human being?
With considerable dedication and a strong stomach. The morgue in the hospital was where I furnished my materials. From one, I stole a hand. From another, I purchased a leg. On dark nights, the graveyard proved sufficient in the energy I was willing to expend in opening a grave.
No more, Victor. Enough.
I became nervous to a painful degree. The fall of a leaf would startle me, and I shunned others as if I were guilty of a crime. When I gathered these materials around my table, I fell asleep troubled across my couch.
I should think so. And that's where your experiment ended.
Only it could have. I dreamed of the grave worms crawling across my father's funeral shroud. I beheld the life I created with these hands looking down upon me in my sleep, reaching out a hand as if you were imploring some aid. There. Now you know.
I know what you've told me.
You still don't understand?
What else is there for me to understand?
Ernst, William's murder, the girl. Think, Henry, think! Ah, but this was no ordinary mortal. He was hideous and stitched together like a rag doll. It was he, my creature, made from the bits and pieces of dead men, that killed little William. Don't you understand? He's found me. He's followed me to Providence.
What you say is true. Why would he want to do that? Why would he want to kill you? That you created him is too preposterous.
I'm not crazy!
You will be if you continue this way.
Henry! I ask that you don't deserve me, Henry! Oh, God. What am I going to do? Henry! Henry! Devil murderer! Standing before you is the proof of my infamy!
God help you, Victor. God help us all.
Frankenstein! Help me!
And to the best of your knowledge, you've had no adverse reaction to the anesthetic.
No,
No paralysis of any kind?
no.
May I? I'm rather intrigued by the eyelids, moist, lubricated by circulating the tears, and the cornea, clear, translucent. Stand up, please. Run in place. No, 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 no. Slowly. Very good. You may be seated. Now, I'd like to test the strength of your grip. Okay. I would say the end result is not yet cosmetically satisfactory, and there's a distinct tendency toward hypothyroidism. I would have thought the end result of this experiment would have been a chronic invalid. I was wrong for having doubted Victor.
That's all I am.
What do you mean?
An experiment.
Far from it, my strange friend. You are living proof that worn-out parts can be replaced. You offer hope for an extended lifespan.
I am a monster. A living thing that is dead. I am alone. Lonely. All men shun Frankenstein's creation.
And why should they, murderer?
Have you slept at all?
I never sleep. Not anymore. All I do is dream of horrors.
This is no horror. What you've created here has opened up a new field of surgical study.
If one is a mad scientist,
He has complete mastery of speech, deduction, locomotion. His parts, they won't wear out,
a living machine.
if you will.
Beware, Henry. The excitement in your voice betrays you. You've caught my fever.
He has no missing cartilage, no extra fingers. Blood courses through his veins as it does through yours and mine.
Blood of dead men.
This is no monster. Whatever your technique, you've developed a massive structure of muscles and tendons. The grafting is amateurish, repulsive at best. But it suffices.
You've forgotten one thing.
I shouldn't wonder.
There sits the hideous thing that's come to kill me.
That is no longer true.
I curse the day I gave you
I
life.
expected this reception. All men hate the wretched. Oh, I must be hated then. I am miserable beyond all living things. I did not always hate you, Victor Frankenstein. The night you brought me to life, I rushed from your rooms, believing the world would welcome me. I saw myself no different than others. I watched you sleeping and saw no great difference between us.
That is disgusting.
No, it is not. You created him. He had every right to think you and he were both of a kind.
Both of a
I am one of no kind! An outcast! Wherever I showed myself, people ran in terror and repulsion. I had no friend. In the winter, I froze sleeping in the hills. In the summer, I hid in the woods.
Were you harmed in any way? Physically, I mean.
Yes. Hunters came into the woods searching for game. I had never seen a gun nor heard it sound. It frightened me and I ran, but they followed after. As I ran, a great pain tore into me and I saw my own blood for the first time. It sickened me.
You hear that, Victor? He's felt pain. He knows fear.
As I do, and as you should. Go from this house. Leave me.
Have I not suffered enough? Now you seek to increase my misery?
Is that why you came here? To seek out a hiding place? Is that why you murdered a defenseless
I did not murder him! You did, Frankenstein!
You dare say that to
A
me?
creature such as I must dare! I saw a child coming toward me. And suddenly, as I gazed on him, an idea seized me that this little creature had been too short a life to understand the horrors of deformity. I thought, if I could educate him before others imparted their prejudice, I might not be so desolate in this peopled earth. I would not be alone. Of all curses, that is the one I loathe above all others.
But why murder?
Murder. That was not my intention. At first. I seized him as he passed, and as soon as he beheld my form, he placed his hands before his eyes and uttered a shrill cry. "Let me go!" he screamed. "Monster, ugly wretch! Let me go, or I will tell Victor! Victor Frankenstein, my brother, will punish you!" Poor Willie, I eyes swell with hellish triumph. I thought I too can create desolation. My enemy is not invulnerable. This death will carry despair, and 1,000 other miseries shall torment and destroy him. Frankenstein will suffer as I have suffered. Have you suffered, Frankenstein?
More than I would have thought possible.
Then I am satisfied. But your work is not finished.
It is finished.
You have created me. You must destroy me.
What?
We are in accord at last.
Let's do it.
Yes, tonight.
Victor, I protest.
We can't risk having you seen. You'll be safe in here. You'll be safe in here until I'm ready. Stay out of sight.
Remember this, Frankenstein. My agony is greater than yours.
No one ever goes in there to be safe.
You can't be serious about his request.
Ah, but I am. He has brought me my salvation.
It would be murder.
He can't murder a walking inventory of human body parts.
That's absurd and you know it.
Call it anything you like. Execution, a balancing of the scales. Retribution, anything but murder. There's blood on my hands for having already created him.
And you think you can just wash away all that blood by destroying him? Is that it?
It's my only hope.
Then I appeal to you now as a man of science. I appeal to you as one who is dedicated to pushing back the barriers of ignorance.
I pushed back the barriers once and look where it got me.
I have looked! And what I've seen is both miraculous and marvelous. This creature was thrust into a world that had every opportunity to welcome him. And yet he's seen that mankind can often be very monstrous itself.
There's nothing you can say I haven't told myself 100 times. You, look at Willie. You speaking of innocent, here's your innocent, my little brother.
Victor, be reasonable. I'm speaking to your intellect, not to your emotion.
Well, damn your
And
intellect.
damn your emotion!
Victor! Victor!
Say nothing of this to anyone.
For the time being.
Return this evening. I'll need your assistance.
Victor! I won't hear another word. If you won't come to the breakfast table, you shall eat in the study. Henry, you're so early.
I'm afraid I never left.
I was counting on you to help Victor rest. And look at this. It's as if you were boys again, up all night with your studies and your vile-smelling test tubes. Will you stay for breakfast?
Sleep, as of now, is more appealing than nourishment.
I shall be angry with you if you encourage Victor in any more work. It would be quite destructive.
I agree with you entirely. I'll enjoy the walk home. It's beautiful out. Until later, Victor. Mrs. Frankenstein.
If you could see your eyes, I can count every tiny vein.
I would like to be alone, Mother.
No, Victor. I've given in to your whims and ways far too often. Elizabeth is taking you into town this morning. She has some shopping to do.
You think that interests me? Shopping?
No, I'm sure shopping will bore you. But Elizabeth will be pleasant, won't it? Ah, Sophie, good. Put the tray on Victor's desk.
I'm not hungry.
I'm going to insist that you allow Sophie and Victor to clean.
I haven't been here in so long. Everything's all covered in dust. It's not healthy to breathe in dust.
Is that your medical opinion?
There's no need to be rude.
Mother, I ask that you respect my wishes. Don't come in unless the door is unlocked.
You allow Henry to come and go at will through the garden.
That's another matter.
Neither Sophie, Elizabeth, nor I have ever bothered you about your laboratory, although the smells can be unbearable. However, other people do come into the study. You're not being fair. Let Sophie clean.
If only all matters could be reduced to such elements. To eat a breakfast, to go shopping, to clean a room.
Sophie has a surprise for you.
Strawberries, first of the season.
Leave the tray.
Sophie, bring me the strawberries. Eat the strawberries, Victor. Is that so amusing?
Mother, you're so good, so comforting. Strawberries? Strawberries!
I'm sorry. I wasn't here a moment earlier. I like a good joke as well as the next.
Not that at all. It's just that I was struck by the incongruity of my dark boots and my mother's strawberry.
They're perfectly good strawberries, sir. The man who sells them to me is very reliable. I've never had any complaints about his produce.
I'm sure you haven't. Delicious.
Come on, Sophie, let's leave them alone. And you'll allow Sophie in here to clean?
Yes.
When, dear?
Soon.
I put the bud vase on the tray myself. Did you notice the petals?
No. What was the flower?
There wasn't any. I only wanted to see if you noticed.
I've been insensitive, haven't I?
I understand. No one here but solicitous women who would smother you with trivialities and fresh strawberries.
Most men would find that the most enviable condition.
I can't make up my mind about this veil. I thought we might return it to the market and see what else they had.
Not a subtle hint.
Victor, listen to me. I don't pretend I'm not disturbed by your strange moods and temperament. You're different from most men. True. Perhaps it's the very quality that attracts me. We've grown up together and I have always loved you, but Victor, I don't know what troubles you. You're so complex and difficult, and I'm not blind to that. But please, don't close your heart to me. Don't keep your love for me.
If only I could be more honest.
I want to help you in life. I want to be with you. We were companions as children. We'll be companions now, only closer and dearer.
And you'll hold me and comfort me and be there when others turn their back against me?
Don't make light of such things, Victor. They count for something.
Then a wife is a truly wonderful thing.
Then let me be wonderful for you. I have never loved anyone else, and I never shall. You'll never be alone. I promise you that.
Dear Elizabeth,
Now come along. We'll have the morning together. We'll go to the market.
I promise you, all of my dark moods will soon be at an end. Yes, now on to the market.
Why?
Bronchial tubes, and then into the chest cavity, the tendons and the attached muscle and tissues, the large veins and the muscular structure of the heart. No suturing required. Totally sever the arm, the leg, complete reversal of transplantation. The spinal column compressed, no attempt to minimize the loss of blood to brain tissue. Yes.
Frankenstein.
It won't be long now. You'll soon have your wish. I'm waiting on Henry. I'll need his assistance.
How will you do it?
I put you together piece by piece. Your whole anatomical structure is a patchwork of transplanted blood vessels, tissues, bones, tendons. I shall simply reverse the process. Don't worry. I'll attack the brain first. You won't feel a thing.
And my pieces?
The pieces are not the main concern of surgery. Still, if you must know.
Yes, tell me.
Several options. Quicklime, acid, burial.
None of those, Frankenstein.
You have something else in mind.
I will live.
No, you will not live. Once the surgery is finished, you'll be erased from this earth.
I will live.
What the hell are you talking about?
I have a passion which you alone can gratify.
I vow to grant your request. Tonight your life ends and my life begins anew.
No, Frankenstein. My life begins anew.
What are you saying?
We will not part until you grant my wish.
You wish for more than death.
Yes, more than death. Life. But this time not for me, for another.
No such creature exists.
You must create her. You see, men will not associate with me, but one as hideous and deformed as myself will not deny herself to me. My companion must be of the same species and have the same defects as I.
None exist. I thought you sought oblivion.
What I ask of you is reasonable and moderate.
Reasonable?
I demand one of another sex, Frankenstein, but as hideous as myself. I demand the prize of Frankenstein's creature.
I refuse.
Do not incite my anger. What I ask is not difficult.
I don't fear your anger, and no torture shall ever extort consent from me.
What I ask is not difficult, Frankenstein.
For me, it's an impossibility. You ask me to create another like yourself.
I do.
Two whose joint wickedness might desolate the world.
Who would harm no living thing.
How did you come by this preposterous
By
idea?
listening to one who loves you.
So you were at the door when I was talking to Elizabeth.
Her words were gentle.
I've agreed to end your life by the hands responsible for giving it to you. Beyond that, I owe you nothing.
Reconsider.
Never.
You are wrong. And instead of threatening you, I am content to reason with you.
You're malicious.
Are you malicious because I am miserable? You, my creator, would tear me to pieces in triumph. Remember that. And tell me why I should pity man more than he pities me. Shall I respect man while he condemns me? Let him live with me in the interchange of kindness, and instead of injury, I would bestow every benefit upon him with tears of gratitude at his acceptance. Why cannot that be, Frankenstein?
Human sensibilities forbid it.
Do as I ask. If I cannot inspire, I will cause fear, and chiefly towards you, my enemy. I will revenge my injuries. Have a care. I will work at your destruction so that you shall curse the hour of your birth.
There, your true nature, dangerous, threatening, wicked. Your bride will be a monster too.
It is true that we shall be monsters, cut off from all the world. But on that account, we would be more attached to one another.
What happiness could there be in your
Our
lives?
lives will not be happy, but they will be free from the misery I now feel. My Creator, let me feel gratitude towards you for one benefit. Let me see that I excite the sympathy of some existing thing. Do not deny me my request. I do not ask of you, Victor. I beg of you.
There is some justice in your argument.
We will go to some forests or jungles. My food is not that of man. I do not destroy the animal to glut my appetite. Acorns and berries will sustain us.
The noble
Do
savage.
not mock me.
And do not tempt me.
We shall make our bed of dried leaves. Pitiless as you have been towards me, I now see compassion in your eyes.
Why'd you have to return?
I swear to you, by the earth in which I inhabit, and by you that made me, with the companion you bestow upon me, I will leave the neighborhood of man forever.
But what guarantee that you won't come back more stronger, demanding than ever?
For love of another my evil passions and anger will be fled.
Because you will have a bride?
Because I will have sympathy!
Forgive me for having created you.
No. It is too late for forgiveness, Frankenstein. Grant me my wish. My life will flow quietly away. In my dying moments, when that time comes, I will not curse my Maker.
As your maker, perhaps, I do owe you some measure of happiness.
We will be things of whose existence the world will be ignorant. The love I feel from another will destroy the causes of my crimes. Pity me, Frankenstein. Pity me.
I'm here as you requested, if only to dissuade you.
Always the man of science, right, Henry?
In this matter, yes.
You could never be as persuasive as my creature.
You look distant. What's troubling you?
Paradise Lost.
Paradise.
From Milton. Did I request thee, maker, for my play, to mold me man from darkness, to solicit thee from darkness to provoke me?
You gave him life, Victor, and now you wish to take it from him.
The creature has had second thoughts.
What do you mean?
Death is no longer to be its destination.
He wants to live.
More than that.
Surely that's enough.
You don't understand.
I'm trying to.
He's asked that I create a bride. Yes, a bride.
He's more human than I thought,
One to share his wretched loneliness.
but it's unthinkable.
So it's Henry Clerval who's having second thoughts. And yet, it was Henry Clerval who sought to dissuade me.
From destroying what was already in creation, creating another is another matter entirely.
Test your fire, Henry. Put your scientific seal to the crucible. You have been swept up in this experiment. You held staunch while I wavered.
For the possibilities that the experiment offered.
I can't do it alone. A second time would be an impossibility. I must have another with me. The creature has promised to live away from man, quietly, without maliciousness.
And if you refuse,
The creature will become a hound of hell, and I will be its prey. Henry, let's give the creature what it asks. I can't destroy it now, for its appeal was too sincere, springing from its cursed heart. We can compensate for the wicked nature of the first by a more gentler nature of the second.
perhaps,
Help me. If not for the creature, then for the experiment itself. You were amazed, fascinated. You, among all others, would see how the feat is accomplished. Will you turn your back on that?
when would we begin, if I accepted?
Why not tonight? Henry, are you not dedicated to pushing back the barriers of ignorance?
Where are you going?
Where else? The graveyard.
It's a graveyard?
It will become my warehouse of spare parts, my salvation, my absolution. Henry, I offer you a glimpse of the eternal. The choice is yours.
I accept.
Splendid. We will get shovels from the greenhouse. Come along, Henry. expected you here an hour ago.
Couldn't be helped. Any difficulties?
None beyond what we already know. We'll need to increase the voltage.
How's he behaving?
More like an expected father than an expected groom.
Understandable.
He sits in the corner of the laboratory like a huge whipped dog watching. If I touch his switch, his eyes blink to the spot.
Testimony to your extraordinary skills.
Testimony to his craftiness. You've noticed his gift of mimicry. He watches you too, Henry. A little while ago, I noticed he was unusually quiet.
And
He was studying your notes.
my notes.
I think it'd be wise if you devised some sort of code or other.
If you say so.
It's both touching and horrible to watch him. I enter the lab, he's by the surgical table.
He never touches anything.
And yet, he knows every molecule of his bright being. I entered unobserved once and found him talking to the incomplete thing.
He's never given me a bit of trouble. Undoubtedly, he thinks of me as some sort of father figure and nothing more.
Don't be too sure about that. You've been his champion. He's not likely to forget that.
I wonder, Victor, where would we be at this point in our lives if your creature had been beautiful instead of ugly?
Don't mistake me for some kind of idiot.
You know I don't.
Leave speculations of that sort of philosophy. I thought at one time a new species would revel me as its creator. Many excellent natures would owe their being to me.
In one case, at least, that's true.
That monster is far from happy and nowhere near excellent.
His bride may present a different story.
These experiments with the second creature intrigue you.
More than words, you know that.
You feel no animosity toward him.
None, and none toward his bride.
Because you are a scientist?
Why else?
You wear your scientific inquiry like a coat of arms. Take care it doesn't pierce.
I leave gloomy speculation to you, Victor. You're a master. Unlike you, I look at the birth of this additional creature from a more practical view.
What could be more impractical than creating a bride for a creature that shouldn't exist in the first place?
You'll cheer up when you see what I've brought. You don't give yourself enough credit. The scientific methods that I learned at your side can help thousands of people. There are thousands of diseases for which these transplants could be beneficial.
I marvel at your ability to find merit in this
And
enterprise.
I marvel at your perpetual indecisiveness, your self-induced depressions. You love this creature, and yet you hate him. You've made your bargain, so stick to it.
What do you have there?
You'll see. Imagine the mercy in replacing a worn-out lung with one that is vital and functioning.
In other words, my evil shall henceforth become my good?
Think of yourself less as a modern Prometheus, and more of a humanitarian.
Where did you get this?
The city morgue. None of the hands so far have been satisfactory.
They were satisfactory, but they weren't fresh. Both aspects are essential.
I think this one will do nicely.
Let me have it. Maybe. I can't be sure. All hands from the graveyard showed signs of congenital defects. We have to give her hands where the muscles, blood vessels, tissues, tendons, bones are capable of sustaining sensation and accomplishing motion. She couldn't have been dead long. Could.
She was young, a derelict.
No question.
The hospital janitor got his price.
I'll want to test elasticity.
Victor,
I warned you to stay out of sight.
How much longer?
All in good time. When I decide the time is right.
will you name her, or will he?
He can name her whatever he likes.
You must hurry.
Must. Is that a word to use to your creator?
Remember, Frankenstein, I am your creature. I ought to be your animal.
I see you more as a fallen angel.
We're doing as you requested.
What more can you want?
Haste!
Victor! Victor!
Warning comes so quickly. Stay back, out of sight. Quiet.
Haste, Victor!
I'll make a few more tests.
Henry, take this with you.
Oh, careless.
Victor! Why you should prefer to sleep in the laboratory is something I'll never understand.
The couch is comfortable.
I don't even know why I should even bother to be concerned, to ignore my advice in all things.
I'm preoccupied. Is that so difficult to understand?
I thought you returned from Harvard because you were exhausted.
I was.
And now?
I'm still exhausted, but it's of a different sort.
What garbage! And what is that supposed to mean, the exhaustion is of a different sort?
Mother, I must ask that you leave me to my work.
And what work is that, Victor?
Why do you ask?
Can't I be curious? You're curious. And cautious. someone's going to discover a secret about you.
Nonsense.
Delivery men at the door day and night with boxes of who knows what. Henry Clerval creeping through the garden at all hours. You think I haven't worried about it all? The sounds, the lights. What is it that you hide behind this door,
Nothing
Victor?
you should worry about.
Let me be the judge.
No!
What is it? There's something very wrong.
Nothing to be concerned about. You know how I am about my work.
Victor, you're the man of this household now, but I can feel you slipping farther and farther away from me. I don't speak much of your brother, and I try not to. It was a terrible sorrow when your father died, but I had my William, and I had my Victor, and cruelly, William was taken from me. You're the only flesh and blood I have left. Take care not to break my heart. If I lost you,
Forgive me for any pain that I've caused you.
you act so unsettled, angry. Elizabeth worries too. She's in love with you. Why don't you marry her?
I love Elizabeth tenderly and sincerely.
You? Then prove it. Why do you delay?
I've never known anyone to share my warmest admiration and affection as Elizabeth does.
One might say the same thing about a piece of porcelain.
I mean my words.
I confess, my son, that I've always looked forward to your marriage. It would give me strength in my declining years.
Declining years, you're still a young woman.
You and Elizabeth always seem suited to one another. You play together, you study together.
What is it you're trying to say?
I feel perhaps that you regard Elizabeth as a sister, that any wish that she might become your wife. There, that's what I fear. That and whatever lies behind that laboratory door. Perhaps you found another whom you love. Perhaps you consider yourself bound in honor to marry Elizabeth, and this brings you pain.
I promise you, all of my future hopes are entirely bound upon with Elizabeth.
If this is true, then very quickly, and this sullenness that has appeared to take hold of your mind will dissipate itself.
Victor won't do it all. It bruises far too easily. Mrs. Frankenstein.
What is that you have in that wrapping paper?
An idle experiment, nothing more.
With bruises?
Then I think it would be best if we went into town together. Maybe we could exchange it for something a bit more suitable.
Of course, I'll just go put this back.
If you're going into town, then take Elizabeth. She'd enjoy the walk.
This isn't a shopping trip. At least, one that Elizabeth would appreciate.
If you say so, Victor.
Trust me.
I'm ready.
Then we're off.
Will you be back for lunch?
Depends on our trip into town.
You're the despair of Sophie.
And of you, and of Henry, and of Elizabeth, and of myself. But I promise you, all of that will soon pass.
I pray for it. Enjoy the day.
Remember, Mother, trust me.
I thought I might find Victor in here. He and Henry went to town. They had to exchange something. What? With Henry and Victor's experiments, I feel it's best not to inquire too closely. Many years ago, I went to that room and was met by a small army of leaping frogs. And there were these peculiar furry things in cages. I've never been back.
That does sound like Victor. Even little William found him unique. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't think.
It's all right, dear. It happens to me all the time. When I'm alone, mostly. Ah, Sophie. Good. Can you go into the cellar for me?
The cellar?
Yes, on my husband's workbench. There's a small metal box. Bring it here.
Yes, ma'am.
Sophie doesn't like to go into the cellar. She's afraid of spiders.
I share her phobia.
Elizabeth, you know my feelings towards you. When my late husband and I took you into our home, you were a beautiful child, abandoned and unloved.
No, not unloved. You took me into your hearts.
And there's no doubt in my mind that you love Victor.
Nor in my mind. gentle, you're understanding. You make such virtues sound like liabilities.
I don't mean to. Only, I think there's a great danger in being sisterly.
You think Victor looks upon me as a sister?
He will always consider you as such unless you give him greater cause to look upon you as a wife. You must be more aggressive with him. Unlike most women, you'll have to compete with science. With a man like Victor, science can be a formidable rival.
If my rival is to be science, I fear I shall always come in second best.
You understand him as I do, but understanding Victor is not enough. Set your mind to your marriage and let nothing stop you. That's the only way. Quick, decisive, total victory.
You should have been a matchmaker.
That's exactly what I'm trying to be. Your marriage to my son will be the happiest moment. Go after them. They could have gotten far.
But Victor will want to be about his business.
Make his business you. Do as I say.
But I've never forced myself on Victor.
Exactly. Remember, quick, decisive,
Total victory. Bravo.
Is this what you wanted?
yes.
It's awfully dusty.
Close the door into the garden and draw the drapes.
The delivery men were here again. There's a package addressed to your son in the hallway.
Who's it from?
Some chemical shop? I think it's glass tubing.
You may go. I'll call if I need you.
Are you all right, Mrs. Frankenstein?
Yes. Go about your business and close the hallway door on your way out. Oh dear.
No, go back! Do not fail me! Do not scream! I mean you no harm! I meant you no harm! I meant you. Forgive the creature!
The car's pulling into the drive.
Nasty weather for a funeral.
Nasty weather for anything.
Why didn't you go to the funeral, Sophie?
I couldn't. I've only been to one funeral in my lifetime. An old school friend. I haven't forgotten it since. And I couldn't bear the thought of going through that again with anyone. I'd rather remember Mrs. Frankenstein the way she was.
I understand. So you found her here?
Yes. I heard her cry for me. And when I came in, I saw her body sprawled out on the floor, her hand over her heart, and her skin the color of ash.
I was on the lunch she had a big heart.
So was everyone else. That would be like her. She never was a complainer.
Spawned like a whalebone. She held it like a soldier doing the alpha business with William.
In public, yes. She cried herself to sleep many nights, though.
But still, the attack came on Sunday, didn't it?
I went to go get the metal box with the keys.
Keys?
She wanted them for something. I found them on the floor.
And what became of them?
I don't know. Mr. Frankenstein took them, I think.
It's been a strange time. Would you believe ghouls are working?
Ghouls? What kind of ghouls?
Well, it depends on how many there are. Several graves have been broken into recently.
That's horrible. Stealing jewelry, I suppose.
See, that I can understand, but it wasn't the case for this one.
What did they take?
A foot.
Oh,
I imagine Victor is taking the death of his mother hard. Are you all right?
I will be, I think.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean for my story to upset you.
Mr. Frankenstein has barely spoken a word in 2 days, and he worked so hard, he and Henry Clairvaux,
Work?
the laboratory.
And what is their project?
Oh, I would know. No one is permitted in there. It's the only room in the house that belongs to Mr. Frankenstein alone. I don't know how they managed to get the machinery in there, though.
Machinery? What kind of machinery?
Lasers and computers, things like that. I don't know much about such matters.
And you say you secretly knew about what he's doing?
Oh yes, it's his way. When he gets involved in his work, he becomes like a machine himself.
Still, can't do him any good. That's odd. This is the only watch from the outside?
He refuses to eat, and he eats almost nothing.
When I last saw Victor, I was under the impression that he was on the verge of collapse. He seemed exhausted.
That hasn't changed, I'm afraid.
It's been a rough year for Victor. His brother murdered, his mother taken so suddenly. I was fond of Victor's mother. Fine woman.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Chief Ernst.
Allow me to extend my deepest sympathies to you, miss, and to you, Victor.
Thank you, Ernst.
Should I make tea?
Please do, Sophie. We're all so chill. It's so dark and cold out.
I'll make biscuits too.
You might take the umbrellas and dry them out in the kitchen. Your mother never liked to dry them in the hallway.
Or Mrs. Frankenstein.
Now, Sophie.
I'm sorry, please forgive me. I just can't believe she's gone. I can't.
None of us can. Now pull yourself together and go to the kitchen.
Yes, ma'am. Tea won't be long.
She's taken it hard. Sophie is so devoted. I understand what she feels, though. I can't quite get used to the idea myself. It's so unreal, so impossible. Alive and vibrant one moment, and gone the next.
Sudden heart failure, not uncommon.
I leave the medical reasons to you, Henry. There's no comforting in them for me. I shall always remember her as the kindest, dearest woman I have ever known.
I'll need your strength, Elizabeth.
You shall have it. The memory of your mother sustains me.
It's most kind of you, Ernst, to stop by.
Actually, I'm here on 2 reasons.
2.
The one, you know, is my sympathy.
Yes, yes.
The other, well, the girl.
What?
Girl? Justine.
You don't mean the one who murdered William?
I do. What about her? Ordinarily, I deny a request, but we're transporting her to a new prison. I had to bring the car this way, so I thought...
You thought what?
She begs to speak with you, Victor. I agree. Her execution is scheduled within a week. It's a last request, you might say.
You want me to see her in here?
That's outrageous.
You could come to the prison if you prefer. Though I thought it would be a more abiding place. I thought this would be more convenient.
So you think Victor just wants to have this girl into his home on this day of all days?
If I've offended, forgive me. But I will continue without further interruption.
Why does she want to see me?
I'm not clue. I'm not sure. But she's asked for this meeting many times.
I'll see her.
Victor,
Do you think that's wise?
I want to see the girl.
She's an interesting case.
you're most interesting, I imagine.
Not really. There's been a lot of grave robberies recently. I'm afraid I've done it again. I'm not what you call a sensitive man.
I hope you don't expect an argument on that point.
Car's parked on the side of the road. I'll go get him myself. May I go through the garden? What? The garden. Will that be okay? Certainly.
The chief is a moron.
He means well.
He's only trying to do his duty.
His duty?
Henry, what's come over you?
Sorry, I'm upset.
Well, shouting won't help any of
I
us.
want to see the girl.
Victor, I'll ask that you excuse me.
Then you better lie down and rest.
I'll try.
I don't think it's wise to see this girl.
Poor thing.
She's a bad sort. Ernst said so
I
himself.
was referring to Elizabeth. I know her so well. She's gone to her room to cry.
She's gone to her room to avoid seeing Miss Justine.
Did you see Elizabeth at the graveside today? Standing straight and tall. As if she were telling my dear mother to carry on and to rest easy.
First time I've heard you wax sentimental.
First time I felt sentimental.
You've taken it all remarkably well.
Have I?
I admire you for it.
You think because I haven't cried, I feel nothing.
I didn't mean to imply that.
My unseen tears are angry feelings. Birth, life, death, stitched together without seed. If that thing had been born, my mother would be here today.
What could have possessed her to go into the laboratory?
Curiosity, a desire to discover. Henry, you and I both should know that. Could she ever forgive me?
I'm sure she does.
And that, the creature, the monster, the devil, does he think of my pain? No. All he thinks of is his bride. The sooner she is ready, the sooner we will be out of your lives. Work faster to avoid future misfortune.
Perhaps we should heed those words.
I marvel at you, Henry. More and more. From your honest scientific inquiries from a mirror image of yourself. Do you not fear him as I do? You do fear him.
No games. Say what you have to say and be quick.
I was afraid you wouldn't see me. You must believe me, Mr. Frankenstein. No one else will. That is why I come here. I wanted to speak to your mother, but they tell me she too is dead, and for that I'm sorry. Sorry again.
I am not Mr. Frankenstein. That is he.
No one will believe my story.
And if I told you I did,
Do not make fun of me.
I
sir.
assure you, I do not.
There was a man. A terrible man with great stitches across his face. I screamed when I saw him. That's when he held out the cross. It was as if he wanted to give me something to stop my screaming.
And of course you said nothing.
No, nothing. As soon as I had the cross in my hand, he turned and ran into the woods.
Naturally, it was the impulse to strike camp and intent to sell the gold coin.
Let her tell it in her own words, Chief.
I wanted no part of that
I
cross.
could have just thrown it away.
Hey, no profit in that. Sorry.
You're sure he said nothing to you?
I am, sir.
And he made no attempt to harm you, is that correct?
And you do believe me.
No.
Her kind knows how to play on one's emotions, Mr. Thurble. Come along, you've had your time.
Wait. When will you be executed?
I have only a few more days of life. There is no hope for me. The insides of jails and prisons are familiar to me, sir. I've known them ever since I can remember. I was born in a prison. My mother died in one.
Well,
My blood is as good as yours, better than most.
watch your mouth.
I have come here, sir, knowing that my life is to be a short one. Wicked as some may think I am. I won't deny I've done some things I'm ashamed of. I have some decency. I swear before my Maker in heaven, and before you, Victor Frankenstein, I am innocent. Look into my face, into my eyes, into my soul. Tell me if what you see is murder.
Into your face, into your eyes, and into your soul. What do I see? I see murder! Murder! Murder!
I swear, no, you must believe me, someone must believe me. I swear, I
So I get picked apart. She cried pity asking for her life. His words came back to haunt me.
My notes are almost complete. We must move quickly if we want to finish the work.
You'll let him go? Escape?
I believe him. He wants what he says he wants.
Knowing him to be destructive and wrathful?
Let him go and find whatever he will have.
No.
What?
I said no.
What do you mean?
You haven't lived with him as I have. Sensing his unspoken questions, his moods, knowing, always knowing, that if he were ever to gain the upper hand, he wouldn't be afraid to use it. Listening at the door again?
Yes.
Did you remember the girl?
I remember her.
Now another will die because of you.
Because of you. You had only to point to your laboratory door and the girl would have gone free. I stayed silent, but so did you, Victor.
Victor, when we're finished with our work, we can see what can be done about the girl.
What can be done?
I don't know. But we'll think of something.
Oh, so easy, so simple. We'll think of something if we don't.
I suggest we continue our work.
And I suggest you find happiness in tranquility, Henry. Avoid ambition.
You have no right to say that to me. Just because you failed doesn't mean I won't succeed.
I will not continue.
I can make you so wretched that the light of day will be hateful to you.
You've already succeeded in that.
You are my creator, but I am your master.
Never.
Return to the laboratory. Continue the work.
Please.
You will not deny me my bride.
There, Henry. Did you hear that? Low, threatening, dangerous. Your victimizer very quickly. Oh, he's sly and clever and quick, but when the winds turn against him, oh, how quickly the monster in him shines.
Keep your vow! Crave for me a bride! Shall each man find a wife for his bosom, and each beast have his mate, and I be alone? Are you to be happy when I grovel in despair?
How can I be happy? How can I be content when the horror of my misguided zeal stands before me, dangerous and threatening?
Calm down. Both of you.
Silence! You can blaspheme the passions, Victor, but take care. Revenge will remain.
So be it!
I will kill you, Victor!
No! Victor,
No! I will kill you! Victor! Open the door!
Let me talk to him. Let me reason. Please. I'm begging you. Listen to me.
Kill! What? Companion! No!
It's finished. Ending.
For this you will pay even more.
Do not poison the air with your mouth.
You will pay!
Henry too, dead. No.
I go, Frankenstein. But remember, I shall be with
And I shall be with you on your wedding night. On your wedding night.
If only you had confided in me earlier.
I was afraid.
Of what you would think.
And of what you would say. 1,000 other things too, and worse. You would judge me mad.
What torture it must have been for you.
You can never know.
Hardly.
Don't waste your sympathy on me. If I wasn't content in searching for the elixir of life or the philosopher's stone, our wedding night wouldn't be like this.
He hates you so much that he would kill you on this night of all nights.
What better night to destroy his maker? I've denied him his bride, and now he will deny me my life.
It will never come to pass.
If only I could believe that.
I believe it, and so must you.
Oh, Elizabeth, I'm truly blessed. If only these horrors could be washed away.
Do you recall the ancient mariner?
Coleridge? We read it one summer.
Yes, like one who on a lonely road doth walk in fear and dread, and having once turned round, walks on, and turns no more his head.
Because he knows a frightful fiend doth close behind him tread. Ernst has the house surrounded.
Then you're safe.
Perhaps.
They'll see him if he comes close to the house.
I hope so.
Victor, you must always trust me. Never keep anything from me.
If I live through this night,
Never say that again.
do you realize that if the creature kills me, he will have succeeded in destroying the house of Frankenstein?
I assure you, Victor, beast will not escape my trap. I have a dozen men staked out around the house with enough shotguns to bring out a bear.
You don't know him as I do. He's keen in his
I
strategies.
like to think that I, too, have considerable skills in that direction.
There is no danger then.
The minute the creature is sighted, an alarm will go off. Only then it will be a mere matter of seconds before I bring the beast to his knees.
Perhaps he won't show up.
We've also considered that, but for his sake, it will be a good idea. But he'll give me a considerable amount of pleasure to either kill him or strap him to a criminally insane asylum.
What about the girl?
We haven't released him yet. He'll tell him what story she'll carry.
But she'll go free.
Hey, all in good time.
You see, Victor, you have nothing to fear.
Stay in the house, both of you. Do not go outside under any circumstances. That's in order.
You have our word.
Can I get you anything, Mrs. Frankenstein?
Mrs. Frankenstein. How odd that sounds, my married name. Oh, no, nothing, Sophie. Do draw the drapes. It's so chilly in here.
Can I get you a blanket?
No, the drapes will be fine.
I was thinking something quite terrible, and yet, it may have turned out for the better.
You were thinking of Henry.
Yes. I don't think anything but death would have stopped his quest. It was as if he was injected with a strange and forbidden venom, the same that infected me. Once he had tasted what I had savored, his doom was sealed. Odd that I've survived and he is not.
I won't listen to any more of this. We will get through the night, and tomorrow he will make plans for travel. Greece would be lovely this time of year, maybe Italy.
There's a few things I must finish first.
When?
Now. In the laboratory.
You can't be serious.
I have to destroy everything. The apparatus, the machinery, the records.
Then must you do it now?
Don't be afraid. Come with me to the laboratory.
No, I will never go in that room. I think I will seal it up forever, wall it up, or tear it out.
Sophie,
Yes, sir?
go into the garden and ask one of the men to stay with my wife.
You want me to go out there?
I'll be quiet all night.
Do as I ask.
Yes, sir.
Once I've destroyed these, I will have made a bed for my sins.
Then it should be a private act. Do it quickly, Victor, and hurry back to me. Sophie? I must get a hold of myself. There's nothing to fear. Nothing. Victor? Victor? Sophie? Who is it? Who is it, Ernst? Sophie!
It's fine. The policeman will be here any minute. I'll go and show him the way.
Wait, Sophie, wait, no! Victor! Victor!
There is a better way. If Frankenstein shall up, you, the bride of my maker, shall die in this place.
The monster is
I
here!
have never left this house. I have lived in the eaves of the attic, waiting. I shall be with you on your wedding night.
No, please, spare us!
Even your cries for mercy give me pleasure, for I think of the words of the bride that I shall never hear. You must die, and Frankenstein will suffer.
No! Victor! Victor!
Die! Die! Die!
It was you he was going to destroy. He would let me live my life knowing what it would be like. Elizabeth, forgive me.
I'm all right. It's over.
He's as keen and crafty as ever. I should have guessed what he had planned. Here, drink this. More?
They're after him.
Which path did he take?
He ran towards the water. Who is he? No one tells me a thing.
Go get some ice.
Oh, I don't need any.
Not for you, for my wife.
Yes, sir, right away.
Why didn't you cry out?
I did. Over and over, but the laboratory door was bolted, and there was so much noise from the machinery.
I promise you will never hear that sound in this house again. The apparatus, the machinery, all that's been destroyed. All that remains is the memory. Well,
He ran into the ocean.
he's dead?
Well, nothing's about my man.
But did he fall into the water?
He was found no more when my man searched ashore for his body. He may rest, Victor, Elizabeth. The creature is no more. Now, excuse me, I have to return to my man.
It's finished. I've destroyed what I've created. Full circle.
Come along.
It's as if I almost feel compassion for him.
I do feel it.
You too?
It's over, Victor. Forever.
I wonder.